Hi guys, I just wanted to check in today and clarify a few things from my last video, my video last night. When I'm doing these videos, I'm so passionate about it. I love to talk sports. I, want to do this more and more someday, like do it professionally. But I get so excited in my videos and I'm just going, and I get a little bit ahead of myself. I'm like hype and I'm speaking fast because I'm excited, and I'm so excited that sometimes my brain doesn't work correctly. So in the video I posted last night of my finals recap, a little glossy here, I mentioned that LeBron had been in Cleveland for 10 years, and I know I was doing a lot of rounding, but I got a little bit ahead of myself. Me and LeBron are actually the same age. We graduated high school the same year, so I'm very familiar with his story. My brain just wasn't working right last night. It's not anything I had to look up or anything. I'm legit. Like I said, I was so excited. I was overdoing it. But he was in Cleveland for 7 years. Like I said, we're the same age. Both graduated high school in 2003. So like I was kind of following his story as I was on my own journey. So 7 years before he took his talents to South Beach. And then my point that I was trying to make, and the similarity between KD's decision, part 2, because LeBron was the original decision. And like I said, he paved the way for players to make their own decision, and that's empowering. So like I said before, I'm not going to down KD or put him in a cupcake category because he within the rules took advantage of being able to make his own decision about his career and his fate. Because let him not get a ring, people are gonna bash him to the death of it anyway. So it's kind of like he's damned if he do and damned if he don't, because people just never satisfied. But the point I was trying to make is that they both tried with their original team. Well, even though Seattle was KD's original team, you guys get what I'm trying to say. They both tried with what they had and they both failed, which is why LeBron made the decision to take his talents to South Beach, and ultimately why KD, once he was a free agent, made the decision to join the Dubs. So there's a similarity in both of the decisions, and LeBron can say what he wants to say about not being involved or playing for a super team, but he did play for a super team, a differently constructed super team, but he did set it up, and we'll see more and more players as we're seeing it now with all of the shenanigans that are going on right now in free agency for this off season. So there's the similarity in both of the things that happened with KD's path, which was, like I said, paved by LeBron's path. So that led me to, since I'm here, to want to talk about something else, and I've got my notes so I can be a little bit more organized and keep my brain going. OKC as an organization, I don't think in the criticism we're talking about their organization as a whole and how their decisions and the organization has played a part in all of the key players that OKC has lost, including Kevin Durant, going all the way back to the James Harden days, and then when they had Reggie Jackson. And as a Detroiter and as a Pistons fan, like, I'm highly upset about that because they can take Reggie Jackson back. Give us somebody else. I'm over him, and he plays the same style of ball, ISO hero, as Russ, and I can see why they wanted to get rid of him. Don't send him to Detroit is all I'm saying, but he's here. That's a story for another day. But back to what I was trying to say. You have to look at the organization at some point and see what's the reason or the rationale for them being so cheap and letting all of these players go. How do we know that had Serge Ibaka had not been, given his pink slip, James Harden, we won't even include Reggie Jackson, but you all get the point that I'm trying to make. Who's to say that this decision that KD he made wouldn't have turned out differently if he had more to work with besides Russie. And then it just made me want to look at the organization. So I had an argument that I felt that they were cheap, and I feel like they're the blame for the position that they're in, while they're just not going to be good enough. Russie can hero ball it all day. He don't have to really pass the ball to nobody. He doesn't really have anyone he needs to pass the ball to. So, I mean, I guess if that's what they're looking for, that works. But why is it that they've been so willing to let these people go? We all understand, well, we may not all understand, so let me back up. Teams have a salary cap. They can't exceed the cap, and if they do exceed the cap, they have to pay the penalty, the luxury tax. So I had mentioned this, and I felt like OKC is cheap, and I feel like they have been trying to take shortcuts and get more for little. And as a business decision, I can see why you would want to do that. But if you want to win and you want to get people to want to come to your team, like big name people and key people, that's not going to work. The market is small. And that's another reason why KD took his talents to the Bay Area. It's a much better business market for him in things outside of basketball. So we were talking about this on Facebook, and a friend of mine has said that OKC is a smaller market team and they can't afford to pay the luxury tax, which is why they had to let all of those players go. I call BS. I don't believe they are a smaller market team, but scared money doesn't make money. You're telling me that the owner, if he's got to pull it out of his wallet, if he wants to sacrifice a little bit now to be able to get that back and more in the future, you've got to make a better and a different decision. And I still go back to the organization. I know the team owner's name, but it's leaving my brain right now. But I'm fighting them, and I feel like they're cheap. And this is what you're going to get if you don't put your money where your mouth is. So I get that they are a smaller market, and taking too many penalties to keep some of those players would hurt them business-wise. But what's your alternative? So that's my point in that regard. So the next thing, I'll try to wrap up quickly because we're going to come back. Well, me, because it's not aware, on Thursday to talk some NBA Draft 2017. So today there's all this talk, with the aftermath in Cleveland and how things are shaking up. They fired David Griffin, the GM, and they're looking at Chauncey Billups. No, Chauncey, don't go. I love you to death. I want to keep watching you on NBA Countdown because I am selfish. So, talks about trading Kevin Love. I said last night he has to go. He needs a pink slip ASAP. It's not beneficial for them to keep him. They better try to get something for him and get rid of him now. But then they're also talking about Kyrie. I don't think you trade Kyrie, and this is why I want to tell you. But then again, well, let me get into it. I'm hearing that Kyrie wants out after next season if LeBron walks. We all know that LeBron is walking. He's going to be taking his talents to the West Coast. I do believe that, but at the same time, if the Dubs team stays together, it's just going to be interesting. If LeBron's in the West, the Spurs aren't going anywhere. They're just only going to get better. And then the Warriors, I'm not sure LeBron wants to face all those teams 4 times a year, but I guess it just depends on what he has to work with. So we'll be next year. Free Bagency is what I call it. Free Bagency is going to be super lit next year. But anywho, it's tricky with Kyrie because if he wants out, if LeBron walks after next season, it's kind of a gamble if you don't try to get rid of him before you lose both of them, if you get what I'm saying. So I don't think you trade Kyrie, but then again, if he wants to bounce, I'm not sure what his contract situation looks like, but I know for a fact LeBron is up after next season, and I believe he's bouncing. So that's going to be interesting. You got to trade Kevin Love. So they're interested right now in PG3 and Melo. And also, was it Jimmy Butler? Well, Jimmy Butler actually in PG3. Melo is kind of like a whisper situation. I don't think they're really talking about their interest in Melo per se on the loud side of things, but I think it's kind of like a quiet whisper. But there is talks about the Knicks buying Melo out and just getting him the hell out of New York quick, fast, and in a hurry. And New York is a mess anyway, because Kristaps Porzingis could potentially be walking too. I don't know what's going on in New York. It's like Cleveland and New York are just like up in flames right now. But yeah, I don't know what you do about Kyrie. You can't afford to just lose him for nothing, which is probably what you're gonna lose LeBron for. So you've got to not rid yourself of your team, especially if he's bouncing. So yeah, Cleveland's got to be careful in the decisions that they make, and I don't want Chauncey Billups involved in the drama, because that's my dude. So yeah, I don't want him to take that job, but he's more than likely gonna get it. So yeah, I just feel like it's really unwise for Cleveland to trade all these people. They got to get rid of Kevin Love for sure. He's got to go. But the rest of them, you can't get rid of everybody and then lose LeBron for nothing. Like, what are you going to have? Nothing. So we'll see what happens this summer, and then especially next summer. So that's the things I wanted to talk about. Again, I want to clear up my mistake, and I don't know how to edit my videos yet, so there's something I got to work on. But yeah, like I said, I know LeBron's very well. We are the same age, and we are both Capricorn, so maybe that's why we have a love-hate, well, I have a love-hate relationship with him. But yeah, so 7 years, Cleveland, went to Miami for what, 4, and then he's been back in Cleveland for 3. So wanted to make sure I cleared up that mistake, so everybody doesn't think I'm an idiot and don't know what I'm talking about. Have a good day. And then, like I said, Thursday is draft time, so that's a whole different situation we've got to talk, all the moving and shaking that's been going on. All right, see you guys on Thursday. Have a good day.